Hi, folks. It's Keith, Victor Echo 3 Sierra Victor Quebec and VA 3KEI. And I'm just doing a bit of a wrap up blog today, having gone through CW for the last year. And I thought it might be appropriate to simply mention some of my thoughts, what comes to mind when I think about what went on over the last year. And quite a bit, actually. Now, some of it will apply to everyone, some of it may apply to a very small group, and certainly a lot of it will apply to us older folks who are either learning Morse code for the first time or going back and relearning it from something that we did maybe in the 1980s or 90s. So let's start off with what I call my top 10 thoughts. This is what comes to mind when I think of the past year. Number one, learning Morse code or CW, it's a process. You're not going to do this overnight. You have to look at it as though you're learning a foreign language. So if you've never spoken French before in your life and suddenly you're taking courses in French, you're obviously not going to be fluent within a couple of weeks. And Morse code is very much the same way. All right, you start off with the basics, you learn your letters, you learn what you need to learn, and over time you get better and better. Lots of practice. So it's a process. It's not something that you're going to do in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. And there may very well be people who can, but the vast majority of you know. So plan on several months, maybe a year. It took me a year. And I know there's others which are faster, but a year was a nice pace for me to do. Thought number two, get instruction. Don't do it on your own. And there's lots of websites that you can go to, some very good ones, as a matter of fact, where you can learn the letters and learn Morse code on your own. The problem is, it's just you. It's you doing what you want to do. There's no real structure to it. And even if they throw a series of lessons at you, there's one site has, I think, 40 lessons, and you learn a couple of letters each lesson. It's not the same as being in a class. It's not the same as having an instructor critique what you're doing. And you're sending, who's listening? Just you. So you need that classroom environment. And the other side is it's much more, there's a lot more positive reinforcement. You do it on your own, you can get awfully frustrated. I did. I know for sure. But when you're in a class and the instructor's saying, listen, you didn't get 100%, that's not a big deal. You need at least 70%, but you don't need to be perfect. Do it on your own. You have that tendency to nitpick, well, geez, I only got 90 on that last exchange, 90%. That's more than enough. But do you know that? Or are you sitting in a class where the instructor is criticizing what you're saying very nicely? So I'm using the Long Island CW Club as an example. They'll say, that's not bad, but you got to leave a little bit more space, between each letters or whatever. So you need that, and you need to know that there's other people, and in their cases, you can be sitting there with people from all over the world, and they'll be saying, I've got this problem, and you're sitting there going, geez, I have the same problem. So there's a lot of bonuses to being taught in a program as opposed to trying to do it on your own. And I think if you do it on your own, one, you're going to get bored, and two, you will get very frustrated. And like I said, I did, and I think I wasted, I'm going to say 2 to 3 months. It was good at the beginning to see if I wanted to do it, did a whatever number of lessons, 5, 6, 7 lessons, whatever, online. And then you go, okay, now maybe I'm serious. Now's the time to look for one of the groups that teaches, and there's several of them, CWAP's Academy, the Long Island CW Club, and others, and go in and get some actual instruction. So that'll be that thought right there. Number 3, well, it's a lot of practice. You have to create time in your day to do it. You can't do 1 or 2 days and then skip 3 or 4 and expect the next day you're going to be at the same level you were before. You've got to do it. Now, there's all sorts of people who will tell you how many minutes you have to do it and whatever. I found for me, with my work day, and I hate doing a lot of stuff at night, I found if I did 15 minutes in the morning, another 15 minutes in the afternoon. That was more than enough. And it broke up my day, which was the other thing. So, number 3, lots of practice. Number 4, sounds a little strange, but get on the air as soon as you can. That's the big fear for most new CW operators, or even those of us who did it years ago. Oh my goodness, I have to go on the air. What am I going to do? Someone's going to hear me. Someone's going to hear me make a mistake. No one cares. So get on the air as soon as you can. And that's one of the advantages of some of these organizations that teach. They will lead you up to that point where you're comfortable getting on the air. You may still be scared, but you know that you can do it and you know what you need to know. So get on the air as soon as possible, because otherwise that frustration level sits in. And even with myself, I found, you went for so long that I'm itching to get on the air. I'm itching to copy people. Copy people down live on the air, not in a classroom situation. So you go through those phases. So if you're with an organization where they've got it structured so that they're going to get you on the air as soon as possible, good. That's what you do. Point number 5, don't expect to be perfect. You never will be. Band conditions, noise, the other operator's inabilities, all sorts of reasons that you will never be perfect. So don't worry about it. You don't have to be perfect. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, one of the problems when you learn on your own is you have that tendency to want to be perfect. I would listen to Morse code that was being sent to me by one of the programs, and you copy it down, and then I'd go back and I'd check to see, how I did on the different letters or numbers. If I was anything less than about 95%, I was upset. You get into that mentality. Yet if you're on a course, the instructor's going to tell you how many got over 70%. There you go. So again, you'll never be perfect. No matter how long you do Morse code, no matter how good you become, you're still never going to be perfect. You will make mistakes. Point number 6, you get faster and better, and you copy better once you're on the air. And it's just the way it is. You're listening to people, you're trying to get it right. You're sending something back to people. You do get faster over time. There's this myth that you have to be fast. And, there's lots of people out there over 20 words a minute, some 40, 50. I've heard 60. You don't need to do that. There's lots of people, 5, 7, 10 words a minute, 11 words a minute, 12 words a minute. Get on the air at a speed you're comfortable with. Send at the speed you're comfortable with. Most good operators will slow down to your speed so that they can copy you and you can copy them. And just don't worry about getting fast. You will get fast on your own the more you're on the air and the more you do. Number 7, tape yourself. You're sitting there and you're practicing your sending and you think, geez, I'm hot stuff. This is really good. Well, I'll tell you what, get a book, open it to any page, start start sending a few paragraphs from that book, just as though you were on the air. Tape it. Most of us have smartphones. You can tape on your smartphone. Voice memos. Hit the tape button. Then 2 or 3 days later, go back. Not right away, because you know what you just taped. Go back a couple of days later and replay it. Can you copy yourself? Now you know how someone would be listening to you and copying you. So I think it's wonderful. I heard that suggestion from one of the instructors somewhere, and I started doing it, and it really does change your opinion about how good you are. The other thing I would say, at least worked in my case, immerse yourself in CW. Don't make it just a here and there thing or a couple of minutes a day. When I work out, unfortunately, I work in this room here. I have my radio on beside me, and it's listening in basically the Morse code frequencies. And you'd be surprised. You're working away, and all of a sudden, someone comes on and they're sending something, and your ear tunes to it. So, yes, your ear will automatically start to translate over time. And the other thing I did, which I don't know if others do it or not, I unhooked my mic. There's no mic on my radio right now. For the last year, it's only been turned on when I've done some parks and I've plugged it in. And it's only been done, I think, once or twice on a weekend when I wanted to do some parks for a break. And I was on there doing single sideband, calling parks. For the rest of that time, that radio's been only on Morse code. And even if I didn't know what people were sending, you pick out this letter, that letter, a number, and over time you pick out more and more. So I think that's one that actually works pretty good. And I would say number 9, I think it's a good one, is use the reverse beacon network. If you're not sure what that is or you've never heard of it, there's a video I did just a few days ago on that one. And this was an idea from Evan, one of the instructors at the BC1 level or beginners level 1 with the Long Island CW club. He made, and I followed up on it. And it's really good because one, you see where people are, you see the word speed that they're using, and that's when you start to realize there's a lot of people going very slow out there, and which sort of gives you a bit of a mental boost, I guess you could say. But you get to copy. You can listen to people. You can zoom into the frequencies they're on and listen to both sides sending, and you can copy them. And now you're getting real life because you're getting interference, you're getting noise, you're getting operators of different abilities, and you're learning to copy them and figure it out. And you're going to figure out pretty fast that you're not copying down every word they send. You're getting probably 70, 75%. And you're missing letters, and that's fine too. Just leave a space if you're writing them down. And over time, you're going to find that more and more of that won't be writing down, you'll be doing it in your head. And that's simple progress. But if you miss stuff, especially if they're sending, back and forth, you can look at those sentences and figure out quite a few of those words that they're sending, even if you're missing letters. So try it, because reverse beacon network is real life. It's not a machine. You're not sitting in a classroom sending to somebody with perfect conditions, with no interference and so on. So try that. And my last thought, number 10, it's a simple one. Have fun. This is not life and death. It's a hobby. Have fun. Know that you will make mistakes. Know that you will screw up. Know that there are occasions when your sending is just going to go completely to hell. And in the end, no one cares, because the other people have done the exact same thing. No one cares. Do you? You may never talk or send back and forth with that same individual ever again. So does it matter? No. The idea is to have fun, to enjoy yourself, improve as you go. And it's a hobby. Enjoy it. You get many wonderful hours out of it. Keith, Victor Echo 3, Sierra Victor Quebec, and Victor Alpha 3, Kilo Echo India. Wishing you a great day.